A scream pierced the humid air of Port Selena's docks. Salt stung Caleb's nose as he crouched behind rusted crates. The necklace, worth $1,000, gleamed in his memory. He did not steal it, but no one believed him. Waves crashed against rotting piers, a relentless drumbeat. Fish guts and diesel fumes choked the evening breeze. Caleb's heart pounded like a trapped animal's. He was 16, poor, and already marked guilty. The courthouse loomed across town, cold and unforgiving. Tomorrow, he would face the judge's gavel. Tonight, he hid, desperate to uncover the truth. Port Selena buzzed with secrets, its streets alive. Neon signs flickered above pawn shops and bars. Sweat soaked Caleb's threadbare shirt. Clinging to skin, he clutched a crumpled note, his only clue. "Meet me at the docks." It read and signed. The handwriting was sharp, almost cruelly precise. Caleb's bare feet grazed splintered wood, rough and damp. He shivered despite the coastal heat, nerves frayed. Someone framed him, but who and why? The necklace belonged to Widow Merrow, town royalty. Her mansion overlooked the cliffs, draped in ivy. Its theft sparked whispers of scandal and greed. Caleb, a dock rat, was an easy target. He polished her silver, scrubbed her floors. She called him boy, never learning his name. Her cold eyes always followed him, suspicious. Now, those eyes haunted his every step. The docks creaked under distant footsteps, deliberate. Caleb's breath caught, shallow and quick. He peered through a crate's slats, vision blurred. A shadow moved, tall and cloaked in black. The figure paused, scanning the misty pier. Caleb's fingers tightened around the note. Was this the one who framed him? The air grew heavier, thick with dread. Seagulls screeched, their cries slicing the silence. The shadow's boots scraped closer, slow and steady. Caleb's pulse roared in his ears, deafening. He could not run, not yet, not now. The truth was close, sharp as a blade. He remembered the necklace, its emerald pendant. It sparkled like sea glass under chandelier light. Widow Merrow wore it at her gala. Caleb served drinks, invisible to the guests. Their laughter echoed, cruel and hollow. He overheard whispers of debts and betrayals. Someone hated the widow, despised her wealth. Caleb's mind raced, piecing fragments together. The note's writer knew something dangerous. The shadow stopped, mere feet away now. A match flared, illuminating a scarred face. Caleb froze, recognizing the man instantly. It was Elias, the widow's groundskeeper. His eyes glinted, hard as polished stones. Elias muttered, voice low, words indistinct. He tossed a match, sparking on damp wood. Caleb's chest tightened, fear coiling like rope. Elias was no friend, always watching, always silent. Once, he caught Caleb near the widow's study. His grip bruised Caleb's arm, a warning. Now, Elias lingered as if hunting prey. Caleb's legs ached, cramped from crouching. The crate's iron edge dug into his palm. Blood trickled, warm and slick, unnoticed. Elias turned his coat, sweeping the ground. He vanished into fog, boots fading. Caleb exhaled, trembling, relief fleeting and frail. The note burned in his hand, a lifeline. He unfolded it again, studying each word. Know who took it, the note promised. Caleb's mind spun, questions clawing like thorns. Why frame him, a nobody, a shadow? The widow's gala replayed in his head. Her guests, all smiles, had sharp edges. One man stood out, nervous, avoiding her. He spilled wine, hands shaking, eyes darting. Caleb served him, their gazes briefly meeting. The man's fear was real, raw, unguarded. Was he the note's writer or another pawn? Port Selena's fog thickened, swallowing the stars. Caleb's skin prickled, damp and cold. The docks felt alive, whispering secrets. He stood, legs unsteady, resolve hardening. He would find the truth, whatever the cost. The courthouse awaited, its judgment looming. Caleb's life hung by a thread. Fraying, he slipped from the crates, silent as mist. The note guided him, a dangerous beacon. He moved toward the town, heart racing. Alleyways twisted narrow and shadowed. Stray cats hissed, their eyes glowing amber. Caleb's footsteps echoed, too loud, too exposed. He paused, sensing eyes in the dark. Someone watched, their presence await. His breath hitched, panic clawing his throat. The note's words burned, urging him forward. He reached the town square, eerily quiet. Street lamps buzzed, casting sickly yellow light. The widow's mansion loomed in the distance. Its windows glowed warm but unwelcoming. Caleb's gut twisted, instinct screaming danger. He recalled Elias's scarred face, his menace. The groundskeeper knew more than he showed. Caleb's fingers brushed the note, now crumpled. Its ink smudged, but the message held. He needed answers, needed them tonight. The square's clock chimed, deep and mournful. Each toe vibrated through Caleb's bones. He crossed the cobblestones, steps quickening. A dog barked, sharp and startling. Caleb flinched, his shadow stretching long. The mansion's gates were closer now. Iron spikes gleamed, cold and forbidding. He stopped, doubt gnawing at his courage. What waited inside, truth or trap? The note promised knowledge. But at what price? Caleb's hand shook, gripping the paper. He remembered the widow's study, locked tight. Papers littered her desk, some marked urgent. He glimpsed them once, before Elias interfered. Those papers held secrets. He was sure. The necklace's theft was no simple crime. It tied to something bigger, something sinister. Caleb's breath steadied, resolve like steel. He would sneak into the mansion tonight. The widow slept, her staff likely gone. Elias might prowl, but Caleb was small. He could slip through shadows, unseen, unheard. The gates loomed, daring him to try. He squeezed through a gap, metal scraping. The garden smelled of jasmine and decay. Thorn snagged his shirt, tearing fabric. Caleb winced, pain sharp but fleeting. The mansion's walls rose, dark and silent. A window glowed, faint, on the second floor. His heart leapt, hope warring with fear. The note's writer might be inside, waiting, or it was a lure, bait for a trap. Caleb crept forward, grass soft underfoot. The air grew colder, heavy with warning. He reached the mansion's side, stone rough. A drain pipe offered a risky climb. His hands gripped it, rusty and slick. He pulled himself up, muscles straining. The pipe groaned, threatening to give way. Caleb's foot slipped, heart lurching wildly. He caught himself, breath ragged, pulse racing. The window was close, just above him. He climbed higher, fear a living thing. His fingers brushed the sill, cold wood. He peered inside, eyes wide, searching. A figure stood within, back turned. Caleb's blood froze, recognition instant, impossible. It was Widow Merrow, alive, awake, waiting. Widow Merrow's silhouette stood rigid against the dim glow. Caleb's fingers froze on the windowsill, slick with rust. Her head tilted, as if sensing his presence. The mansion's air reeked of wax and old roses. His breath hitched, trapped in his throat. He ducked low, heart hammering against ribs. The drain pipe creaked, betraying his weight. Port Selena's fog curled, thick and suffocating. Caleb's pulse thundered, loud as crashing waves. He could not climb down, not now. The widow turned, her shadow stretching long. Her eyes scanned the dark, sharp and unyielding. Caleb pressed against the wall, stone cold. Sweat stung his eyes, blurring his vision. The crumpled note burned in his pocket. Its promise of truth felt like a trap. He waited, muscles taut, barely breathing. Her silhouette vanished, the room now empty. Caleb exhaled, relief sharp but fleeting. He hoisted himself onto the sill, trembling. The window was unlocked, slightly ajar. He pushed it open, hinges groaning softly. Inside, the air was heavy, dust-laden. Velvet curtains brushed his arm, soft but eerie. The floorboards creaked under his cautious steps. A chandelier gleamed faintly, crystals catching moonlight. Caleb's bare feet felt the rug's worn threads. The mansion was silent, unnaturally so. His eyes darted, searching for the note's writer. A clock ticked, each second a warning. He crept toward the study, heart racing. The door was ajar, spilling faint light. Papers rustled inside, moved by unseen hands. Caleb's throat tightened, fear coiling tight. He peered through crack, eyes straining. A figure hunched over the desk, frantic. It was not Elias, nor the widow. The man was thin, his movements jerky. Caleb recognized him from a gala. The nervous guest, the one who spilled wine. His hands rifled through drawers, desperate. Caleb's breath caught, loud in the silence. The man froze, head snapping toward the door. Their eyes met his wide with panic. He clutched a ledger, pages yellowed, worn. Caleb stepped back, floorboard groaning loudly. The man bolted, ledger under his arm. Caleb lunged forward, instinct overriding fear. He chased him down a darkened hall. Portraits lined the walls, eyes following. The man's footsteps echoed, fast and uneven. Caleb's lungs burned, legs pumping hard. The hall smelled of polish and decay. A door slammed ahead, cutting off escape. Caleb skidded to a stop, heart pounding. The man was gone, vanished like smoke. Caleb's hands shook, clutching the note. Its words haunted him, sharp and urgent. Know who took it, it had said. Was this man the thief or another victim? Caleb turned, the mansion's silence oppressive. A creak sounded behind him, deliberate. He spun, seeing only shadows and dust. His skin prickled, sensing unseen eyes. The widow's presence lingered, cold and heavy. He moved toward the study, steps cautious. The door hung open, paper scattered everywhere. Ink bottles tipped, their contents pooling black. Caleb knelt, scanning the littered desk. A photograph caught his eye, edges frayed. It showed the widow younger, smiling faintly. Beside her stood a boy, eerily familiar. Caleb's breath stopped, recognition like ice. The boy's face mirrored his own, younger. His hands trembled, holding the faded image. Was this real or a cruel trick? The mansion's walls seemed to close in. A whisper of fabric brushed the air. Caleb dropped the photo, heart lurching. He stood, eyes darting to the doorway. Nothing was there, only empty darkness. His fingers brushed the note, now damp. The ledger was gone, taken by the man. Caleb's mind raced, questions piling high. Who was the boy in the photograph? Why did he look like Caleb's reflection? The study's air grew colder, almost suffocating. He grabbed a letter, its seal broken. The handwriting matched the note's sharp strokes. It mentioned debts, names, and a necklace. Caleb's pulse quickened. Truth tantalizingly close. The letter named Elias, the groundskeeper. His role was vague, but sinisterly implied. Caleb stuffed the letter into his pocket. Footsteps echoed downstairs, heavy and slow. His stomach twisted, fear sharp as glass. He slipped out of the study, silent. The hall was dark, shadows swallowing light. A faint scent of tobacco lingered now. Caleb's bare feet felt the cold floor. He moved toward the stairs, heart pounding. The mansion groaned, as if alive. Each step creaked, announcing his presence. He reached the landing, eyes scanning below. A figure stood in the foyer, motionless. It was Elias, his scarred face illuminated. He held a knife, its blade glinting. Caleb's blood ran cold, legs frozen. Elias's eyes locked onto his, unblinking. The groundskeeper's lips curled, a predator's smile. Caleb backed away, pulsed deafeningly loud. He turned, running toward a side door. The handle was slick, resisting his grip. Elias's boots thudded, closing the distance. Caleb yanked the door open, escaping. The garden's thorn scratched his arms, stinging. Jasmine overwhelmed the air, sickeningly sweet. He sprinted toward the cliffs, fog thickening. The ocean roared below, wild and hungry. Caleb's feet slipped on wet grass. He caught himself, heart in his throat. Elias's footsteps faded, but not gone. Caleb hid behind a twisted tree, panting. The letter and note burned in his pocket. The photograph's image haunted his mind. Was he tied to the widow somehow? The thought churned his gut, impossible yet real. Port Selena's lights flickered in the distance. The town felt distant, a world away. Caleb's breath steadied, resolve hardening again. He needed to find the nervous man. The ledger held answers. He was sure. Elias's knife meant danger, not just suspicion. Caleb's fingers traced the letter's edges. Names listed within hinted at conspiracy. The necklace was a spark, igniting secrets. He crept along the cliffs, staying low. Waves crashed below, spraying salty mist. The wind howled, carrying whispers of betrayal. Caleb's skin crawled, senses razor-sharp. A light flickered ahead, near the pier. He moved toward it, cautious, silent. The nervous man might be there, hiding. Caleb's heart raced, hope battling dread. The pier's boards creaked under his weight. A lantern swayed, casting jagged shadows. Someone coughed, a sound sharp and close. Caleb froze, peering into the fog. The nervous man emerged, clutching the ledger. His eyes were wild, face pale as death. He saw Caleb and stumbled, nearly falling. "You," he whispered, voice hoarse with fear. Caleb stepped closer, hands raised, calming. The man clutched the ledger tighter, trembling. "They'll kill me," he stammered, eyes darting. Caleb's throat tightened, questions burning inside. Who were they, and why the necklace? The man's gaze flicked toward the mansion. A scream tore through the night, chilling. Caleb's blood froze, recognizing the voice. It was Widow Merrow, shrill and terrified. Widow Merrow's scream echoed, sharp as shattered glass. Caleb's legs locked, rooted to the pier. The nervous man's eyes widened, ledger slipping. Port Selena's fog swallowed the mansion's glow. Salt air stung Caleb's lungs, bitter and cold. The man grabbed Caleb's arm, gripped desperate. "We must run," he whispered, voice cracking. Caleb's heart pounded, a frantic drumbeat. The scream faded, replaced by eerie silence. Waves crashed below, hungry and relentless. The man tugged Caleb toward the docks. His boots slipped on wet, splintered wood. Caleb followed, the ledger's weight tempting. The pier groaned, swaying under their steps. A lantern flickered, casting twisted shadows. Caleb's skin crawled, sensing eyes nearby. The nervous man panted, face slick with sweat. "They know I took it," he stammered. Caleb's mind raced, piecing clues together. The necklace, the note, the photograph, the boy in the picture, his face. It haunted him, a mirror of himself. The man stopped, clutching the ledger tightly. His eyes darted, wild with raw fear. "Elias is coming," he hissed, trembling. Caleb's stomach churned, dread coiling tight. The dock smelled of fish and rust. A gull screeched, slicing the heavy air. Footsteps thudded behind, heavy and deliberate. Caleb spun, seeing Elias's scarred silhouette. The groundskeeper's knife glinted, cold and sharp. Caleb's breath caught, pulse roaring loudly. The nervous man bolted, ledger under arm. Caleb sprinted after him, legs burning. The pier's end loomed, dark and narrow. Elias's boots pounded, closing the gap. Caleb's bare feet slapped wet wood, stinging. The man veered toward an old warehouse. Its walls sagged, rusted metal creaking. Caleb followed, heart slamming against ribs. Inside, the air was thick with mildew. Shadows danced on crates, jagged and eerie. The man ducked behind a rotting barrel. Caleb crouched nearby, breath shallow, ragged. Elias's steps slowed, deliberate, hunting. The knife scraped against wood, chillingly close. Caleb's fingers clutched the crumpled note. The letter in his pocket felt heavy. It named Elias, tied to dark secrets. The nervous man's eyes met Caleb's, pleading. "They'll kill us both," he whispered hoarsely. Caleb's throat tightened, fear sharp as thorns. The warehouse groaned, wind rattling loose panels. A rat skittered, claws scratching damp boards. Elias's shadow loomed, blocking the entrance. Caleb's chest heaved, panic clawing inside. The man shoved the ledger toward Caleb. "Take it," he urged, voice barely audible. Caleb hesitated, hands trembling, uncertain. The ledger's leather was worn, edges frayed. Its pages smelled of ink and dust. Caleb grabbed it, heart lurching wildly. Elias's knife scraped again, closer now. The man pushed Caleb toward a back exit. "Go!" he hissed, eyes wide with terror. Caleb stumbled, ledger heavy in hand. The door was rusted, handle cold, unyielding. He shoved it open, hinges screaming. The ocean's roar greeted him, deafening. Fog curled thick, hiding the cliffs. Caleb ran, ledger pressed a chest. The man's footsteps followed, then stopped abruptly. A grunt echoed, sharp and pained. Caleb turned, fog obscuring his view. The nervous man was gone, swallowed whole. Elias's laugh cut through, low and cruel. Caleb's blood froze, legs pumping faster. The cliffs were close, treacherous, slick. Grass scratched his feet, wet and sharp. The ledger's weight slowed him. A burden. He clutched it tighter, refusing to drop it. Its pages held answers, maybe salvation. The photograph's image burned in his mind. The boy, his face, the widow's smile. Was he her son, or something darker? Caleb's breath rasped, lungs screaming for air. Elias's footsteps returned, relentless, unhurried. The groundskeeper knew these cliffs well. Caleb did not, a stranger to safety. The fog parted. System parted, revealing jagged rocks below. Caleb's foot caught a root, pain flaring. He stumbled, the ledger nearly falling. The ocean salt spray stung his face. Elias's shadow loomed, a dark specter. Caleb scrambled up, heart in throat. The cliff's edge was close, too close. He veered left toward a rocky path. The ledger's pages fluttered, threatening to tear. His fingers dug into the leather, desperate. Elias's boots crunched, steady, menacing. Caleb's legs burned, muscles screaming protest. The path twisted, narrow and uneven. Rocks bit his feet, sharp and cold. The fog thickened, a suffocating shroud. Caleb's pulse roared, drowning the waves. He ducked behind a boulder, panting hard. The ledger's weight anchored him. Heavy. Elias's steps paused, searching, silent. Caleb's chest heaved, breath loud, betraying. The groundskeeper's knife gleamed through fog. Caleb's eyes locked on the blade, frozen. The nervous man's grunt replayed, haunting. Was he dead or just unconscious? The ledger's secrets press against Caleb's chest. Names, debts, and hints of murder. The widow's scream echoed in memory. Was she alive or was it a trick? Caleb's mind spun, questions like knives. The photograph, the boy, his face. The truth was close, sharp, dangerous. Elias's boots moved again, closer now. Caleb's fingers shook, gripping the ledger. He crawled forward, rocks cutting palms. The cliff's edge loomed, a deadly drop. The ocean roared, a hungry beast below. Caleb's heart raced, hope fading fast. The boulder hit him, but not for long. Elias's shadow shifted, hunting relentless. Caleb's breath caught, shallow, frantic. The ledger's pages whispered a betrayal. He opened it, eyes scanning quickly. Names leaped out, familiar, shocking. The widow Elias and others unknown. A contract, a debt, a deadly promise. Caleb's blood ran cold, realization dawning. The necklace was no simple theft. It was a message, a bloody warning. Elias's knife scraped stone, inches away. Caleb's body tensed, ready to run. The fog parted, revealing Elias's grin. His scarred face gleamed with malice. Caleb's legs coiled, ready to spring. The groundskeeper lunged, knife slashing air. Caleb rolled, rocks tearing his skin. The ledger fell, pages scattering wildly. Elias laughed, a sound like gravel. Caleb scrambled, grabbing the fallen book. His fingers bled, smearing the pages. The ocean's roar drowned his thoughts. Elias towered above, knife raised high. Caleb's eyes widened, time slowing down. A figure emerged, swift from the fog. It struck Elias, a blur of motion. The groundskeeper staggered, knife clattering down. Caleb's jaw dropped, heart pounding harder. The figure was small, cloaked, unrecognizable. Elias groaned, clutching aside, furious. The stranger grabbed Caleb, pulling him. They ran, the ledger barely held. The cliffs faded into the mist. Caleb's lungs burned, legs trembling, weak. The stranger's grip was iron, unyielding. They reached a cave, damp and dark. The air smelled of salt and decay. Caleb collapsed, ledger slipping again. The stranger's hood fell, revealing a face. Caleb's breath stopped, shock like lightning. It was a girl, young, fierce, familiar. True Crime Story Part 3. The girl's face gleamed in the cave's dim light. Caleb's heart stuttered, recognition sharp as glass. She was Mira, the widow's kitchen maid. Her eyes burned, fierce, almost feral. Salt and damp clung to the cave walls. The ledger lay heavy in Caleb's hands. Myra's cloak dripped, wet from fog. Her breath was quick, ragged, urgent. "You should not be here," she whispered. Caleb's throat tightened, questions choking him. The ocean roared outside, a relentless beast. Myra's gaze flicked to the ledger, wary. "Why help me?" Caleb asked, voice trembling. Her lips pressed in, hiding secrets. The cave's air was cold, thick with mold. Water dripped, echoing like distant footsteps. Caleb's skin prickled, sensing unseen danger. Mira grabbed his arm, pulling him deeper. The ledger's pages crinkled, edges tearing. Her grip was strong, bruising his wrist. "Elias will find us," she hissed softly. Caleb's pulse raced, fear coiling tight. The cave twisted, narrowing into darkness. Rocks scraped his shoulders, sharp and unforgiving. Myra's lantern flickered, casting jagged shadows. The smell of seaweed choked his lungs. Caleb clutched the ledger, his only anchor. The photograph's boy haunted his thoughts. Was he the widow's son or Caleb? Mira stopped, her breath catching sharply. A faint glow appeared ahead, unnatural. Caleb's stomach twisted, dread like ice. The cave opened into a hidden chamber. Crates lined the walls, old and rotting. A table stood, littered with papers, knives. Caleb's eyes widened, heart pounding louder. The widow's necklace lay there, emerald gleaming. Its chain was tangled, stained with red. Blood, fresh and wet, pooled nearby. Caleb's legs wobbled, nausea rising fast. Myra's face paled, her hand trembling. "This is wrong," she whispered, voice breaking. Caleb's fingers shook, opening the ledger. Names stared back, some scratched out. The widow's name was circled, underlined twice. Elias's name followed, marked with numbers. Debts, dates, and a word. Eliminate. Caleb's blood froze, realization crashing hard. The necklace was bait, a deadly lure. Myra's eyes met his, wide with terror. "They planned this," she said, voice low. Caleb's mind spun, connecting fractured clues. The nervous man, the ledger, the photo. The boy's face, his face, a secret. Was Caleb part of their twisted game? The cave's walls seemed to close in. A scrape echoed, boots on stone. Caleb's heart leapt, fear clawing inside. Mira doused a lantern, plunging them into darkness. Her hand found his cold, trembling. "Stay quiet," she breathed, barely audible. The footsteps grew louder, deliberate, hunting. Caleb's chest heaved, breath too loud. The ledger's weight pulled at his arm. He pressed against the wall, stone biting. The air was heavy, thick with salt. A shadow moved, outlined by faint moonlight. Elias's scarred face emerged, eyes glinting. He held a knife, bloodied, dripping. Caleb's stomach churned, bowel rising fast. Myra's grip tightened, nails digging in. Elias paused, sniffing the damp air. His lips curled, a predator's smirk. Caleb's pulse roared, drowning the ocean. The groundskeeper's boots scraped closer, slow. Mira pulled Caleb behind a crate, which splintered against his back. Rough. The necklace gleamed faintly, a cursed jewel. Caleb's mind raced, piece in the puzzle. The widow's scream, the nervous man's fear. The photograph, the boy, his face. Was Caleb her blood, or pawn? Elias's knife scraped stone, chillingly close. Myra's breath hitched, barely controlled panic. Caleb's fingers brushed the ledger's pages. A name caught his eye, new, shocking. It was his own, written in red. His heart stopped, world tilting wildly. Why was his name in the ledger? The truth was a blade, cutting deep. Elias's shadow loomed, knife raised high. Caleb's legs tensed, ready to bolt. Myra's hand squeezed, urging him still. The groundskeeper's eyes scanned the dark. He muttered, voice low, words indistinct. Caleb's breath caught, shallow, frantic. The necklace's emerald seemed to pulse. Its light was wrong, almost alive. Myra's whisper came, sharp, urgent. "It's not just a necklace," she said. Caleb's eyes widened, confusion swirling fast. The ledger's pages crinkled, revealing more. A map was tucked inside, hand-drawn. It marked the cave, the mansion, docks. Lines connected names, places, and debts. Caleb's name was central, circled twice. His blood ran cold, mind reeling. He was no thief, but something worse. Elias's boot stopped, inches from the crate. Caleb's heart pounded, loud as thunder. Myra's fingers dug deeper, bruising now. The knife's shadow danced, long and sharp. Caleb's eyes locked on the necklace. Its emerald glowed, unnatural, hypnotic. A hum filled the air, low, eerie. The cave's walls vibrated, barely noticeable. Caleb's skin crawled, senses screaming danger. Myra's eyes met his wide, knowing. "It's cursed," she whispered, voice shaking. Caleb's jaw dropped, disbelief warring with fear. The ledger's map pointed to him. He was the key, but to what? Elias's knife scraped, closer, taunting. Caleb's fingers tightened on the ledger. The photograph's boy flashed in his mind. The widow's smile, cold, calculating, cruel. Was she alive, or was she dead? The scream replayed, shrill, too real. Mira tugged him, pulling him deeper. The cave's floor was slick, treacherous. Rocks cut his feet, pain flaring. Elias's laugh echoed, low and menacing. Caleb's heart raced, hope nearly gone. The ledger's weight was his only anchor. Mira stopped, pointing to the tunnel. It was narrow, dark, barely visible. "Go," she urged, voice sharp, desperate. Caleb hesitated, eyes on the necklace. Its glow pulsed, drawing him in. Mira shoved him, breaking the trance. He stumbled into the tunnel, ledger clutched. The air was colder, heavy with earth. Mira followed, her breath ragged, loud. Elias's footsteps faded, then surged again. The tunnel twisted, walls closing tight. Caleb's shoulders brushed stone, scraping skin. The ledger's pages tore, edges crumbling. His name in red burned his mind. The necklace's hum followed, relentless, alive. Myra's lantern flickered, barely holding light. The tunnel ended, opening to the cliffs. Port Selena's fog swallowed the stars. Waves crashed below, wild and furious. Caleb's legs shook, exhaustion clawing deep. Mira grabbed his arm, steadying him. Her eyes searched his, fierce, urgent. "You are not just a boy," she said. Caleb's breath stopped, world spinning fast. The ledger fell, pages scattering wildly. A gust caught them, carrying secrets away. Elias's shadow appeared, knife gleaming red. Caleb's scream caught, trapped in his throat. Myra's hand tightened, pulling him back. The cliff's edge was close, deadly. The necklace's hum grew louder, calling. Caleb's mind fractured. Truth too big. He was no thief, but something impossible.